Well, good morning. Happy Thursday morning to everyone. Hope you're doing well wherever you are and whatever you have going on. We're at the next game of the 1987 replay. Next to the last game on May the 28th, game 311 on the replay. We're at exhibition where it's pretty much symmetrical. So singles are 1 to 9, both sides of the plate. Home runs are 1 to 11, both sides of the plate. Two right-handers going at it. Dave Stewart for the Oakland A's and Jim Clancy for the Toronto Blue Jays. Real world, Stewart was a 20-game winner, and Jim Clancy won 15 games. Two of the better teams in the league. Toronto comes in 28-15, 1/2 game behind the New York Yankees. And Oakland is in first place in the AL West at 25-19. So on paper, it should be a good game, but that's why you roll the dice. You never can tell these things exactly what's going to happen. Hello, P. Madoff and Tim. Good to see both of you guys. Got our Toronto colored dice today. We'll see how that white D20 does. Sometimes that black D20 with the red and the white, sometimes that devil die doesn't work out too well. So I'm hoping by changing up the colors a little bit that we can get some decent rolls. We'll never know. Jim Clancy is 8-1 on the replay. He was 15-11 real world. But in the replay, he is really killing it. I guess he's getting good run support as well. That's why he's 8-1. Hello, Chuck. Good to see you. Clancy's 8-1 ERA of 3.76. So his ERA is actually higher than what it was in real world. He was 3.54 real world. In the replay, he's got a 3.76 ERA, but he's 8-1 because he's getting such good run support. 69 innings pitched, 74 hits, 20 walks, and 58 strikeouts. So Jim Clancy finishing up his warm-up throws. And we got Luis Polonia, Mike Davis, and Jose Canseco to lead things off for the Oakland A's. Nothing really weird out of any of the lineups. The only thing that's a little bit different maybe is the Blue Jays just called up Manny Lee at second base. And they had second base problems early in the year with Mike Sharperson not getting the job done. They didn't really like Gar Forge and the way he was playing. So they brought up young switch hitting Manny Lee, and he is going to probably be their second baseman, at least for a little bit. Although looking at his card, he only got 121 at bats, so maybe his time didn't do well either, although he did hit 256 real world. So it was a revolving door at second base, that's for sure. And we'll see how they play it here. And of course, mandatory equipment. Got my coffee. I can't have it without my coffee. This is my third and final cup of coffee for the day. And that will get us going. All right, so Luis Polonia leads on the replay. Polonia is hitting just 229, a homer and 3 driven in. He hit 287 real world, so he's had a little bit of a struggle as well. Loses a number on his defense by going to center field. He's a 2 outfielder on the corners, but 3 in center. It's a 6-8, and that's going to be a leadoff single for Luis Polonia. Polonia with a leadoff single. If you look at the pitcher-catcher hold, Clancy's a +1. He is a +1. Ernie Witt's a 0. Dave Stewart's a +3. Polonia, to get the lead, needs a 4, 5, or a 6 to obtain the lead. Whoa. That's well, that's a 7, so he can't get the lead. I rolled a D20, make sure he's not picked off. He's not. Okay, so he can't get the lead. So he will hold. And here is Mike Davis, the fielder. Davis hitting 324 on the replay, 11 homers, 28 driven in, and he only hit 265 real world, so he's doing much better in the replay. 3-8, and that's going to be a ground ball shortstop A. 6-4-3 tailor-made double play. And unfortunately, when you can't get that stolen base, it sets you up for that potential double play, and the Blue Jays turn it better than pretty much anyone else. With Tony Fernandez, slick fielding Tony Fernandez in the lead on that. And I gave Tony Fernandez the thumbnail to see if that gives him some good karma. Here is Jose Canseco, Mr. Juicer himself. Here in the replay, he's hitting 5, 11 homers, 31 driven in. And in the real season, he hit 257. So he's doing well for himself. 5-10, and that's a ballpark single check. And again, symmetric 1-9, but that's a 13. So that will be a line out, second base, to end the inning. So Clancy gives up a leadoff single, but the double play bails him out. And we go to the bottom of the first. It is Oakland 0 and Toronto coming to bat. Dave Stewart on the mound. He was a 20-game winner with a 3.68 ERA real world. On the replay, he is 5-3 with an ERA of 2.78. 68 innings pitched, 62 hits, 28 walks, and 59 strikeouts. And Tony Fernandez will lead things off for Toronto. Fernandez on the replay hitting 363, a homer and 14 driven in. He hit 322 real world. Switch hitter. That's a 3-6, and that's going to be a leadoff walk. Something Stewart does not want to do, especially to Fernandez. Fernandez definitely looking to run, and potentially with that +3 hold rating, where he has a +2 and Tettleton's a +1 for a +3. So if he gets the lead, it's pretty much automatic. 6 or a 7 gets him the lead. He does not get the lead, so he'll hold. And here's Rance Mullenix. Mullenix steps to the plate. Mullenix on the replay is hitting 333 and 99 at bats. This is at bat number 100 for him. He's got 5 homers, 18 driven in. He hit 310 real world. Oh, and that one white dot didn't go through, so I'm going to re-roll everything. So 1-9 for Mullenix, and that's a ground ball double play, 3-6-3. So both pitchers benefiting from the double play. This one turned by McGuire and Griffin very well. 3-6-3 double play. So 2 quick outs, and that's going to take us to Willie Upshaw, the first baseman. Upshaw on the replay hitting just 202. 1 homer, 13 driven in, 244 real world. 1-8, and that's another walk. So second walk issued by Stewart. Upshaw has a chance to get a lead, needs a 3 through 7, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to get the lead, but a 9 or a 10, he gets picked off. That's an 8, so he cannot get the lead. He found the number in between, so he cannot get the lead. That brings up George Bell. Bell on the replay hitting 297, 12 homers, 34 driven in. He hit 308 real world. 110, and that's a ballpark blast on a 110. That's a 6. That's gone. George Taco Bell. A 2-run bomb. Look at it again. 110. 110 is a ballpark blast. Exhibition Stadium 1-11, and the double die is a 6. So a 2-run home run. So despite the double play, you thought Stewart was going to get out unscathed, but George Bell had other ideas. A 2-run homer, and that's home run number 13 on the replay for George Bell. RBIs 35 and 36, and the Blue Jays take a 2-0 lead. And that'll bring up Jesse Barfield. Speaking of home runs, he leads the league in home runs with 15. To go with 43 runs batted in. He's hitting 302. He hits 263 real world. That's a 6-9, and that's going to be a 1 for a double, and anything else he flies to left. So he'll fly it out to left field for Canseco to end the inning. But the 2-run bomb from George Bell has put the Blue Jays on top 2-0 as we head to the top of the second inning. And hello, Jeffrey. Good to see you. And of course, Jeff, you gotta have to have this to make it a complete experience. You have to have the tools of the trade, no question about it. And then, to borrow your phrase, that's good coffee. All right, McDonald's coffee, breakfast blend, gotta love it. All right, save Javellia for the weekends. All right, so McGuire is your leadoff batter. He is hitting in the replay. Mark McGuire on the replay is hitting 269, 11 homers, 26 driven in. He hit 289 in the real season. That's a 3-7, and he will strike out. First strikeout of the game for either pitcher, and first, of course, for Clancy. That'll bring up Hot Dog Reggie Jackson, the designated hitter. He is hitting a robust 208 on the replay, 9 homers, 23 driven in. He hit 220 real world. 5-6 struck him out. Back-to-back strikeouts for Mr. Clancy. And that'll bring up Carney Lansford, third baseman. Lansford hitting a 283 on the replay, 6 homers, 29 driven in. He hit 289 real world. 3-6, and that's a home run 1-6, but that's an 18, so he's going to settle for a double. 2-out double for Carney Lansford. So he's in scoring position, brings up a clutch situation for second baseman Tony Phillips. And in the clutch, Phillips will gain a hit on 2-6, and he also gains one on 110 and on 310. So a very good clutch hitter. 3 extra hits in the clutch for Phillips. On the replays, hitting 236, 2 homers, 14 driven in. He hit 240 real world. But he's got a chance if he can hit one of those clutch results to really help him out. 3-5. 3-5 is going to be just fine. 1-18 is a double. That's a 16. It's a single 2 stars, but the 2 stars means Lansford will come in to score and cut the lead to 2-1. So RBI single from second baseman Tony Phillips cuts the lead in half at 2-1. We'll see if he wants to try for the lead. 2 or a 6, 7, 8 gets him the lead. A 10 gets him picked off. He gets a 7, so he will go 15, being held to 13, and then the +1's a 14. So 1-14, and he will steal it. Ernie Whitt's T rating is only a 4, so there's not much risk throwing down. 1-14, he steals. And he's in there. Stolen base for Tony Phillips. So Phillips steals second. He gets in scoring position with 2 outs, turning this at bat by Tettleton into a clutch situation. Tettleton in the clutch will gain a hit on 2-3. Everything else he is neutral. On the replay, Tettleton hitting 231, 6 homers, 14 driven in. He only hit 194 real world. So he's doing pretty well for himself, all things considered. That's a 3-8, and that's a base on balls, so that'll keep the inning going for Alfredo Griffin, the number 9 hitter, former Toronto Blue Jay. Is Alfredo Griffin. And on the replay, Griffin hitting 267, no homers, 9 driven in. He hit 263 real world. And in the clutch for Griffin, he gains a hit on 311. Everything else he is neutral. Clancy to Griffin, 2-3. As a line out to short, Fernandez snags it to end the inning, but the Oakland A's take the lead on a double by Lansford and a single by Phillips, all with 2 outs. And they cut the lead in half. It's a 2-1 ball game as we head to the bottom of the second. Dave Stewart back out. And Lloyd Mosby, your batter. Of course, Toronto trying to win and keep pace with the Yankees. If they win, they'll get back in a first-place tie with the Yankees in the American League East. Brewers a half game back, and they play tomorrow against Milwaukee. That's the Friday game. I'm sorry, against Minnesota. So Lloyd Mosby will lead things off. He's hitting 305 on the replay, 13 homers, 44 driven in. He hit 282 real world. Stewart to Mosby, 6'8", left-handed, is yet another walk. That's the 3rd walk issued by Stewart. And we're just starting the second inning. So Stewart, the real season, did walk 105 batters. So that was pretty high for him. Amazing he won 20 games out of doing that. But it's a walk. And Mosby, to get the lead, 2, 3, 4, or 5 will get him the lead. Does not get it, he will hold. So that brings up catcher Ernie Whitt. Ernie Whitt is hitting 297 on the replay. 5 homers, 19 driven in. And in the real season, he hit 269. That's a 1-8 for Whitt, and that is a fly to center, hauled in by Polonia. 1 away. Hello, Kathy. Good to see you. And yes, Kathy, I do have coffee ready to go. And I see we have a World Series trivia question in the top of the 3rd, so be ready for that. As the World Series starts tomorrow night, real world. Dodgers going north of the border to face Toronto. I heard Blake Snell is going to start for the Dodgers. I have no idea about Toronto. Might be Gosman, might be somebody else. Who knows? All right, here's the crime dog, Fred McGriff. He's hitting 244 on the replay. 8 homers, 16 driven in. He at 247 real world. 1 on Stewart. His wild pitch rating is an 8. No wild pitches. Tettleton was able to block it. McGriff, 5'9", and that's going to be a strikeout for Stewart. That's his first strikeout. And that'll take us to young Manny Lee. He's had 1 at bat in the season so far. Recent call-up, he's 0 for 1. On the real season, he hit 256 with a homer in 121 at bats. So we'll see what Manny Lee can do. Pretty good defender at short, 3 and an E10. That's not bad at shortstop. I don't know why it says E32 here. Should be E10. I don't know where I got E32 from. He's E10, clearly. It says E10 right here. You know what? I was looking at the second base. Oh, it is second base. I'm looking at shortstop. What am I doing? I'm outthinking myself. Of course, Tony Fernandez is at shortstop. So he's a 3 E32 at second base, but he's really a natural shortstop. He's just playing out of position at second because they got Tony Fernandez. But Manny Lee is more of a shortstop than he is a second baseman. Switch hitter, batting left-handed against Stewart. 5-5, and that's going to be yet another walk for Stewart, his 4th walk in 2 innings for Dave Stewart. Not going to last long doing that. He's going to flip it to Tony Fernandez for a clutch situation. Fernandez in the clutch, completely neutral. He has no effect. So Stewart trying to keep the Blue Jays off the board. 5-9, and he does with a strikeout. So Stewart comes back and strikes out Fernandez to end the inning. And if you're a Yankee fan, of course, you want Oakland to win this game because that would help the Yankees in the standings. So at the end of 2 complete from Exhibition Stadium, it is Toronto 2 and Oakland 1. And now if you'll direct your attention to the chat, Kathy has a World Series trivia question. You can see if you got your World Series thinking caps on and can answer the question. What team has a record 5 wins and no losses in 7th games of World Series play? Now that's interesting. That is an interesting one. We'll see if anybody can get that one. Dan is guessing the Pittsburgh Pirates. I know they 71 and 79 they won that, and I guess 60 they won. I don't know about the other game 7s they may have played. Let's see, who else would be there? I don't know if the Cardinals ever lost it. Oh, Dan got it. Very good, Dan. You jumped all over that one. Very, very good. The Pittsburgh Pirates. How about that? I knew 3 of them, but the other 2 must have been back in like the 20s or something, or early, or maybe 09 or whatever when they beat Detroit way back in the dead ball days. But I remember 60, 71, and 79 were like that. That's right. Cardinals lost Game 7 of the 87 World Series to the hometown Minnesota Twins. Minnesota Twins have won 2 World Series, and they did it because of the Homer Dome. Plain and simple. They were 8-0, and I believe they were 0-6 on the road. Somebody can correct me on that if I'm wrong, but I believe that the 2 World Series in 87 and 91, the only 2 the Twins have been in, 87 and 91, they won all 4. They had the home field advantage both times, won all 4 home games in both series, make them 8 wins and 0 losses. But they lost all the road games to make them 0-6. So I think they were 8-0 at home, 0-6 on the road, where definitely the Homer Dome was a big-time advantage. So had they just happened to be on the odd years where the American League got the home field. So before Bud Selig did that weird thing about the All-Star game winner getting the home field advantage. But in 87 and 91, American League teams were the home team at home field advantage, and they took advantage of it. So kudos to them. All right, top of the 3rd. Thank you for that, Kathy. Top of the 3rd, Luis Polonia. 112, and that's a fly to center. Lloyd Mosby's going to run that down. One away from Mike Davis. Getting to a double play his first time up. 2-7, and that's a strikeout. Strikeout number 3 for Clancy. So Clancy off to a good start to start the third. Fly out to center and a strikeout. 2 down, and that's going to send up Jose Canseco. That's a 2-11, and he's going to fly to right, and that's going to do it. A 1-2-3 inning for Oakland here in the top of the third. Clancy not messing around this time around as he gets them out in order. 1, 2, 3. We go to the bottom of the third. Still Toronto 2, Oakland 1. And I'm hoping with this, on paper, it should be a good pitching matchup, and I like good pitching. But dice sometimes have a way of giving you the unexpected, which is part of the fun. I mean, if it was totally predictable, why play? Because you know what's going to happen. I mean, you want some sense of predictability so it's realistic, but the surprises are what makes the game so much fun. All right, so bottom of the third we go. And that brings up Mullenix. Oh, Dan, you had local knowledge. Okay. Well, use the local knowledge to your advantage when it comes up. Here's Mullenix, 5-5, and that is a 1-5 double. 16, though, is a fly to right field. And that'll be one away. Here's Willie Upshaw. 6-6, and that's going to be a 1-10 double. That's a 5, so Willie Upshaw will crack a 1-out double. And that brings up George Bell, who homered his time up, so Stewart has to be careful. But he won in Bell's area where he can drive it. 3-3, however, is a ground ball to third, and that'll freeze Upshaw at second base. So 2 down, keeping Upshaw at second base. Now it's a clutch situation for Jesse Barfield. He's very dangerous as well. In the clutch, he loses a hit, though, on a 1-8 and on a 2-12. So he's got 2 anti-clutch spots to navigate. 3-9, however, is a split chance. 1-4 is a single. 5-20 lines out. That's a line out to Griffin, and that's going to end the inning. So Stewart pitches around that 1-out double. And we go to the fourth. Still tied at 2-1. Clancy back out. His fatigue is 7. So is Dave Stewart. So if they pitch well, they could get complete games. You never know. Here's Mark McGuire. 6-8 for McGuire. That's a walk, and I believe that is the second walk now for Clancy. So he walks McGuire to start the game or start the inning, and now here comes Hot Dog Jackson. Jackson, first time up, he went down on strikes. 2-11 for Hot Dog, and look at this. Clean as a baby's ass there, Jeff, for Hot Dog Jackson. Clean as a baby's ass. 2-11. Clean as a baby's you-know-what right here. No D20 needed. Good thing because it was the 19. But look at this. 2-11. Solid home run there for Hot Dog Jackson. So he's helping his former team whether he knows it or not. A 2-run home run for Reggie. And that is home run number 10 on the replay for Jackson. And RBI's 24 and 25. And that gives the A's a 3-2 lead. Yeah, they took that Clancy pitch and deposited in the right field seats. Actually, in Exhibition Stadium, there were no right field seats. It was a football stadium, so they just put a wall out there. So the only thing he hit it into was probably the end zone of the football stadium. Here's Lansford. Very weird ballpark was Exhibition Stadium. 4-3, and that's a ballpark single check. 1-9, that's a 14, so he will line it to short. Does Lansford. But now the A's are in front 3-2. Here's Tony Phillips. He had an RBI single his first time up. 6'8", switch hitter, batting left as a solid single. He's 2 for 2. And that brings up Phillips with a chance to get a lead. He needs a 2 or a 6, 7, 8 to get the lead. 10, he's picked off. That's a 5, so he does not get the lead. He will hold. And here is Mickey Tettleton, catcher. 6-12, switch hitter batting left-handed is a ballpark blast for Tettleton. 1-11. That's a 2. It's gone. Another 2-run bomb. This one from Tettleton. Ballpark blast. 6-12 against the switch hitter batting left is a ballpark blast. Exhibition Stadium's 11. Devil dies a 2. Mickey Tettleton goes deep. And they are just getting to Clancy here in this 4th inning. And for Tettleton, that is home run number 7 on the replay. He had 8 the whole season. That's home run number 7 in his 79th at bat. RBI's 15 and 16. He only hit 8 in 211 at bats, so he's definitely got the long ball going. And the A's now lead it 5-2. They're jumping all over Clancy. Here's Griffin. Still only 1 out. 3-10 for Griffin. He flies to right. That's out number 2. But Clancy a little shell-shocked with these 2 2-run homers led by Hot Dog Jackson. And here's Polonia. It's a 1-7, and that's a 1-9 double. 10-20 is a single, so Polonia gets in the act with a double. He's 2 for 3. A's got the hitting shoes on. That is 7th hit for the A's here in 4 innings. And that brings up Mike Davis in a clutch situation. Davis, let's see here. He is completely neutral in the clutch. I'm sorry, no, he loses a hit on 110. That's his only anti-clutch roll. 2-2, however, is a ground ball to third, and that will end the inning. But a 4-score Abraham Lincoln inning, 2 2-run homers by the Oakland A's give them a 5-2 lead as we go to the bottom of the 4th. So as we say, the Yankees and Brewers are loving this. All right, here's Lloyd Mosby. He will lead off against Stewart. We have another question in the top of the 5th. So after this inning happening is over, be ready for another World Series question. And here is Lloyd Mosby. 2-9, and that's a ground ball to second. Phillips will handle it. 1 away. And here comes Ernie Witt. 5-5, and that's a 1-out walk for Ernie Witt. He's no threat to run, obviously, so he will not be held. And here comes the crime dog, Fred McGriff. Four, 5, and that's going to be a split chance. 1-4 is a single. Anything else, he lines to second. So that's a liner right to Tony Phillips for out number 2. That'll bring up young Manny Lee. Walked his first chance. That's a 2-3 for Lee, and he's going to 2-3. He grounds it to third, and that's going to end the inning as Lansford makes the play. So Stewart comes back with a shutdown, what they call a shutdown inning, where your team gives you the lead. You come back that next half inning and shut down the opponent, not give them any hope to get back in the game. So at the end of 4 complete, it is Oakland 5 and Toronto 2, and the Toronto bullpen might be stirring down there. But now we're in the top of the 5th, so if you give your attention to the chat for the World Series trivia question, we'll see if we can get this one as well. First brothers to hit home runs on opposing teams in a 7th game of a World Series. Wow. Well, there's only so many brothers that played in the big leagues, so that narrows it down a little bit. But let's see if anybody can figure this one out. Brother combinations, 7th game of World Series. I have a couple names in mind, but I'm going to see if somebody else try. I didn't think about the Boyers. That's a good guess, Tim, obviously. I was thinking of another brother combination, but the Boyers certainly could because Cardinals and the Yankees played in the 64 series. And Jeff is guessing the Wayner brothers, but they were on the same team, Jeff, I believe. Tim got it. All right. Ken and Cleet Boyer. I'm assuming that was the 64 World Series. That's the only time I can think of that they played against each other that I know of. I'm believing it was the 64 World Series. So good job there, Tim. You jumped all over that one. And we go now to the top. Thank you, Kathy, for that trivia. All right. So Jose Canseco will lead off. He's 0 for 2. It's a 1-6. He's now 0 for 3. That's another strikeout, and that'll be the 4th for Clancy. Yes, it was a very good question. Very thought-provoking. I was thinking the Alou brothers. That was the first combination of brothers that came to my mind, but I'm not sure if they ever played in the World Series against each other. So Boyers, I didn't think of. So that was a good one for Tim. That was a name. Once you hear it, you're like, oh, duh. But when you're thinking about it, it just didn't cross my mind. Here's McGuire, 5-5, and that's a fly ball to right field, hauled in by Barfield, 2 down. But here comes Hot Dog Jackson. He started the whole thing with this 2-run homer his last time up, and it was a no-doubter. It was at 2-11. It was no ballpark effect needed or anything. It was clean. 3-8. This time it's a clean strikeout, and he goes down on strikes. 5th strikeout for Clancy, so he rebounds and has a solid 5th inning, keeps himself in the game. Go to the bottom of the 5th, still 5-2 Oakland. Stewart, after giving up a 2-run homer to George Bell, has settled in quite nicely and has kept the Blue Jays at bay. Here's Fernandez. He's walked and struck out. 4-5 switch hitter. Split chance 1-4, and that double die is a 1, so it'll be a base hit for Tony Fernandez. So even though I switched the double die to a different color, it still comes up as a double die. Can't control that, just the way it works. More than 5% is guaranteed. It's documented. So it's not equally 5% for every number. That's a bogus premise. All right, here is Tony Fernandez. He's going to try to get the lead, 6 or 7. Does not get it. He'll hold, and here's Rance Mullenix. Mullenix is 0 for 2. And I'm going to try something I haven't tried. Now, you noticed yesterday I tried for the very first time a suicide squeeze, which was way out of character for me. But this one, since he hit into a double play last time, I'm actually going to try a hit and run. I don't like hit and run. I hate the hit and run. I think it's a terrible strategy. Just like Earl Weaver thought it was a terrible strategy. But we're going to do it. With them holding Fernandez on, his hit and run C becomes a hit and run B. So first thing, we're going to roll the havoc, make sure nothing's happening there. It's not. And in case you're unfamiliar with the hit and run, basically, if we roll a 1, 2, or 3, we come down to this chart right here. 4, 5, or 6, it's just off the regular pitcher card. So we'll see what happens. All right, we get a 5, so it's coming off the regular pitcher card. 5-11 for Rance Mullenix. 5-11 is a ballpark single check. Ballpark single check of 1 to 9. That's a 14. So this is going to be a line drive double play because it's a line out to second base. And if you're doing a hit and run, Fernandez is a dead duck. So it's a 4-4-3 double play. It doesn't necessarily say that in the rule book, but I'm interpreting that to be a line drive double play. Because the hit and run, you're meat. You're halfway to second by the time that ball gets to the second baseman. So that's why I don't like the. That's why I don't like the hit and run right there. You saw it, Exhibit A. Just think it's a horrible strategy and probably should be outlawed because it's just so bad. All right, here's Willie Upshaw. 6'3", and that's a ground ball pitcher X. Stewart is a 4E6. 4E6. 4 and a 13 for Stewart. So you probably won't see me do a hit and run for quite a while now. 4 and a 13 is a G3, and that's a 11, and he is an E6. E6, there is no 11, so Stewart makes the play, and that's going to end the inning. So what looked promising for Toronto turned out not to be. So actually, Mullenix is hitting 2 double plays. Now, one the traditional ground ball double play and one a line out double play. No, that's a failed hit and run, which is probably a monotonous term, failed hit and run. That's, They're both kind of synonymous. All right, so we go to the top of the 6th. Can you tell I don't like the hit and run? I was hoping that comes across without too much explanation, but it is absolutely the worst strategy in baseball. No question about it. You leave your runner out to dry. You force your hitter to swing at a bad pitch. Just lots of bad things can happen on that. You take away his power because he's making contact or trying to protect. I mean, when it works and they hit the ball to the right side and it goes in the right field and the guy goes from first, third, it's a thing of beauty, but that very All right, here's Tony Lansford. 2-2, and that's going to be a foul out to the catcher, 1 away. So 1 down, and that brings up Tony Phillips. Okay, there you go. There you go. Page 8 of the rule book. Let me look at it officially. Now, I'm glad you brought that up, Tim. Let me pull out the rule book so we can have documentation of this. Page 8. Let me go to page 8. Page 8. There we go. Page 8, and you say it's 19.51. Here we go. 19.51 right here. 19.51 on page 8. When using the super advanced hit and run chart, if line out reading is rolled on the pitcher's card, override the result to be a low max. So there you go. So thank you for that, Tim. I mean, it just made sense to me. I thought I was homebrewing that, but actually, since you just verified that for me, that makes me feel better to know that was in there. Thank you for that. No, you won't, Dan. You won't see another hit and run, and you definitely won't see a suicide squeeze for who knows how long. I don't think you see a suicide squeeze the rest of this replay. All right, here's Tony Phillips. 2-6, and that is a fly to center field. 2 down. I believe Earl Weaver is one of the best managers of all time, and his disdain for the hit and run is what led me to have that disdain. And the more I've even tried it a couple times, it has just failed miserably. And so I'm on board with yeah, Jeremiah. I don't remember reading that rule in that part of the book, but Tim was right there on the spot. Thank you for that. Now I've got validation. All right, 4-7, and that is a ground ball second base X. We're looking at Manny Lee. He's a 3 E32. 3 and a 7. He should get to this. E32 might be questionable. 3 and a 7 is a G3. Nobody's on base to be held, so no worries there. He's an E32, and that's a 9 at second base. E32, there's an 11, 15, 17, and 18, but no 9. So Manny Lee makes the play, and Clancy comes back with another 1, 2, 3 inning. So we go to the bottom of the 6th. Still, the A's in front 5-2. Bottom of the 6th we go. And Stewart back out. His fatigue also, of course, is a 7. It's heart of the order, George Bell, Jesse Barfield, and Lloyd Mosby. So he's got to negotiate those. That is a 6-6 against Stewart. And it's a 1-13 single. Double die comes up a 1 again. Base hit. And here comes Jesse Barfield. Bell, let's see. I don't think he wants to try to run now. He's not even going to be held. So here is Barfield. That's a 5-8, and that's a strikeout for Stewart. That's only strikeout number 2 for Stewart. He's walked 4, struck out 2 so far. Actually, he's walked 5, struck out 2. Here's Mosby. Hello, Joel. Good to see you. 6-8 to the lefty is another walk. That is walk number 6 in 6 innings for Stewart. So far, he's negotiated the problems, but that's eventually going to catch up with you. Here's Ernie Witt. First and second, 1 out. Ernie Witt is the tying run at the plate. 1-11, and that's a ground ball. Boy, he just missed the ballpark blast, That's going to be a ground ball, second base A. So the pitcher's best friend comes in again, 4-6-3 double play. And that's going to end the inning. So Dave Stewart escapes again. And we go to the top of the seventh. And I will need a seventh inning stretch break to heat my coffee. That's no question about that. So we're at the fatigue inning for both starting pitchers, Jim Clancy. And so I don't think that the person I'm thinking of is in the chat right now. Hey, Dr. D. But somebody asked me, I don't remember who it was, in the previous game with Rick Roden. He has a fatigue of 7, and so I believe it was, no, fatigue of 6, I think it was. And so I followed the +2 in the rule book where you say you're not supposed to go more than +2 past his innings pitched. So the person asked me, well, does that mean that he can never have a complete game? Not necessarily. If he's pitching well, I will go past that. They said he had 4 complete games, but to use Steve Towers' expression, after further review, 2 of those complete games were on the road where he only pitched 8 innings. He only pitched 2 9-inning complete games. So half of his complete games were 8-inning losses. So Roden, if he wants to get a complete game in this league, is going to have to be well in control. But the fact it was 1-0 and he had given up a couple hits the previous inning, I just felt like I had to bring in Righetti. So, yeah, I could think about leaving Roden in to get the complete game, but it just made sense in that particular time to do it. So Roden can get a complete game if he's in control and has a decent-sized lead. I'll let him go a little bit, depending on how the flow of the game is going. But in that game yesterday, in the 7th inning, particularly 7th and 8th innings, he was starting to struggle a bit. So I just felt like you got the closer, Righetti, you pay him the big bucks. That's why you bring him in. So here's Alfredo Griffin. Hello, Mike. Good to see you. Alfredo Griffin to lead off. He's 0 for 2. That's a 3-9, and that's going to be a strikeout for Clancy. And for Clancy, that is strikeout number 6. So since he's given up the 2-run homers, he has settled down to really keep himself in this game and try to give his team a chance to catch up. Here's Polonia. 4-12, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. Fernandez is a 1, so you know he's going to get to it. It's an E17 is his only problem. And the only way he makes an error is 15, 16, and 17. Anything else, he'll make the play. And that is a 14. Boy, he just barely got there. But Fernandez makes the play on Polonia for 2 quick outs. And Clancy looks like he's going to take full endurance into the 8th. Here's Mike Davis. He's 0 for 3. 6-9, and that is a single. So finally get a base hit for Mike Davis, his first hit of the game. And Davis will see if he can get a lead. He needs a 2, 3, 4, or 5. Does not get it, so he will hold, and here comes Canseco. So Clancy has to be weary. The bullpen for the Blue Jays is loosening. And we do have 3 right-handers and 1 left-hander. We've got Jeff Musselman, the lefty, Jose Nunez, the righty, Mark Eichhorn, the righty, and the closer, Tom Hinkie. So given the situations, we have Jeff Musselman, a lefty, is loosening in the bullpen to face Reggie when it comes up, if it gets to that. So here's Canseco now. 3-12, and that's a hit by pitch. So he plunks Canseco. Canseco not happy about it. Hit by the pitch. That's going to bring up McGuire. Boy, do they go with a righty here? Do they trust Clancy to face McGuire? He's got McGuire twice. He's walked him once, but he got him twice. So McGuire in the clutch loses a hit on 3-12, and everywhere else is neutral. So they're gonna trust Clancy. He's he's on the replay. He's 8-1. He's an 8-game winner. So they're gonna try to get milk one more batter out of Clancy. Facing McGuire. 5-8, and he pays off dividends with a strikeout, his 7th of the game. That's going to be it for Clancy. He's going to be finished right there at 7 innings, as he was on the borderline of being fatigued and giving up more than what he wanted to give up there. So coming in next inning for the Blue Jays will be Jeff Musselman, a left-hander. He will come on. He is a 0 hold, so 0 here. So we'll get the numbers on Clancy to finish him off before we take our 7th inning stretch break. So Clancy on this game, 7 innings pitched, 8 hits, 5 runs, all were earned, 2 walks and 7 strikeouts. And he is in danger of dropping to 8-2. Stewart's looking good for a 6-3 record right now. But there's still a couple innings to go, so you can't count the chickens yet, as they say. We're in the 7th inning, so pinch hitting is allowed, so we probably will pinch hit for Manny Lee. We're not going to pinch hit for McGriff, but we'll probably find somebody to pinch hit for Manny Lee. Most notably, it looks like Rick Leach has picked up a bat to hit. So Rick Leach, former Michigan quarterback, will pinch hit for Manny Lee. So we got Leach hitting for Lee. And then coming in to play second base will be Garth Clockwork Orge in the top of the 8th. So Jimmy Williams going to be going with a pinch hitter, Rick Leach, and then bringing in Orge to play second base after the fact. So that'll do it for Manny Lee. All right, so Manny Lee is done. It'll be McGriff, Leach, and Fernandez when we come back from the 7th inning stretch against Dave Stewart, who is starting his fatigue inning as well. So while I go down and refresh my coffee, it is time for the 7th inning stretch, which means it is time for Take Me Out to the Ball Game. It gives me a good chance to go downstairs and do a pseudo stretch as well. And gives me a chance, most importantly, ultimately important is to take care of the coffee. Because if you take care of the coffee will take care of you. So that's what I'm going. All right, so enjoy the 7th inning stretch. Take me out to the ball game. All right, we are back. Coffee has been heated up, and we are ready to go. Start this bottom of the 7th. Coffee is warmed up and ready to go. That is some good coffee, as they say. All right, so the crime dog. Fred McGriff is going to lead off, and then the pinch hitter, Rick Leach, will follow. Got a 410, and that's going to be a fly ball center field X. That is Bologna, 3E9. 3 and a 4. Oh, Devil Die shows up. 3 and a 4. 3 and a 4 is going to be a base hit. So if he was a 2 in center, he would have made that catch. But 3 in center is going to be a single. That's a 10. And he's an E9. That's not a problem. but it will drop in for Fred McGriff, a leadoff single for McGriff. Polonia just not able to get there. And now the pinch hitter Rick Leach is on. In the real season, he hit .282 in 195 at-bats with 3 home runs. So let's see what he's doing on the replay. Rick Leach, as the Blue Jays looking for a spark to start their bottom of the 7th. In the replay, Rick Leach is hitting .222. He's 3 out of 27. No homers, 6 out of 27. No homers and 2 driven in. Or maybe he is 3 out of 27. 2 for 9. So yeah, it would be 6 out of 27, I do believe. All right, so Rick Leach with McGriff at first base. Don't ask me to do math on the oh, I didn't even see the trivia question. I'm sorry, Kathy. I didn't know there was a trivia question coming in the top of the 7th. I missed that, apparently. After the stretch. Yep, it sure was, and I missed it. I'm sorry about that, Kathy. Good job, Doug. I mean, Dan, I'm sorry. Coffee's got me all mixed up. I didn't even realize there was a trivia question. I totally blew that one, Kathy. Apologize for that. Totally blew the setup on that one. But Dan bailed us out with the Blues Brothers. So hopefully it's the original Blues Brothers, not the Blues Brothers 2000 they try to reboot with not having Belushi, but having what's his name from the I'm drawing a blank on his name now off the top of my head, but the guy who was with Roseanne. I'm drawing a blank on his name off the top of my head. I should know it, and I don't. Tom Arnold. No, it wasn't Tom Arnold. It was John Goodman. He wasn't with Roseanne. Tom Arnold was. John Goodman, he's known for something. I'm not sure what he was known for, but I know he was known for something. All right, so anyway, back to this Rick Leach. 2-7, and that is a ground ball second base A. That's going to be a 4-6-3 tailor-made double play again. Third double play induced by Dave Stewart, and he has benefited from that humongously. 2 quick outs, and now the top of the order, and Tony Fernandez is your batter. Tony Fernandez. Oh, he played Roseanne's husband. Okay, I thought he was somehow connected to Roseanne. I just couldn't figure out what the story was. So Tom Arnold was her real life husband, and John Goodman played her husband on the Roseanne show. That's what it was. Okay. Here's Tony Fernandez, 4-8 switch hitter, is a strikeout for Stewart, so he certainly keeps endurance into the 8th inning. Stewart, that's only his 2nd strikeout of the game. He's got 6 walks, but he's benefited from 3 double plays. Wow. And so on the computer, we'll now have to bring in Garth Orge to play second base. Yes, thank you for the trivia question, Kathy. Again, I apologize. I fumbled that, didn't even see it. I was so in tune on getting my coffee that I didn't even pay attention. All right, so Garth Orge is now at second base. And Jim Clancy is going to be out of there. We need to move Jim Clancy out and bring in Jeff Musselman, the left-handed reliever for the Blue Jays. He will come in to start the top of the 8th. And we'll get the numbers on Musselman. Musselman, real season, was 12-5 with a 4.15 earned run average. Did have 3 saves. In the replays, 1-0 with 1 save, an ERA of 7.82. He hasn't pitched much. 13 innings pitched, 14 hits, 10 walks, and 10 strikeouts. So he's going to be facing Hot Dog Jackson. And with the lead, they're not going to pinch hit for Hot Dog. They're going to let him hit against lefties, even though he only faced lefties 14% of the time. I do remember that, Tim. I do remember him playing Babe Ruth, although that was a movie that I didn't really think was all that great. But, hey, it was a baseball movie, and it was a big thing back then. The 80s and 90s produced a lot of baseball movies. Most of them weren't very good, but some of them were. All right, here's Reggie. Mr. Hot Dog, lefty on lefty, 1-3, and he gets hit by the pitch for a second time. No, I'm sorry, not the second time. First time. It was Canseco got hit by a pitch last inning. So second hit by pitch, and now the umpires are going to come out and warn both teams we're not having these shenanigans. The next hit by pitch, and you are gone. So Reggie, not very happy about that. In fact, the A's are going to bring in a pinch runner for Reggie. They will bring in a pinch runner for Reggie, and it will be Stan Javier, and Javier will stay in the game as the DH. So Stan Javier will pinch run, and he might be looking to try to grab second base. He's a pinch runner here in the 8th inning, stay in the game to be DH in the 8th. So Stan Javier, let's see if he can get the lead. First of all, we know Musselman's a 0 hold. So Javier to get the lead is a 2, 4, 5, or 6, but he does get picked off with a 12. So we'll see if he can establish a lead. That's an 11, so he does not get the good lead. He will have to hold. But he's got good speed on the bases. If you get a base hit there, he runs at a 15, which is pretty good, considering Reggie runs at a 10. So Stan Javier on first base, being held, and Carney Lansford the batter. Lansford is 1 for 3. It's 2-7, and that's a single to left field. That's going to put runners at first and second with nobody out. And Tony Phillips, your batter. Switch hitter will turn around bat right-handed against the lefty Musselman. And now Jose Nunez loosing in the Blue Jay bullpen, just in case Musselman can't do any better than what he's doing right now. Get a 6-6 switch hitter batting right-handed. 6-6 is a strikeout for Musselman. Big strikeout there for Jeff Musselman. One away for Mickey Tettleton, another switch hitter. Tettleton had the big 2-run homer in the 4th. It's a 6-9 switch hitter again, batting right-handed. That's a fly to left field, and that's 2 away. So after giving up the first 2 base runners on base, he has come back, gotten 2 quick outs, and now Alfredo Griffin, yet another switch hitter, is at the plate in a clutch situation against left-handers, and he gains a hit on 3-11. Gains a hit on 3-11. Kathy, if you have another World Series trivia in the 9th or whatever, I'll pay attention this time, I promise. If you don't, that's fine too. All right, here's Griffin. 5-3, switch hitter batting right-handed. That's a fly ball right field X. That's Barfield. He's a 1, so we know he's going to get to it. He's an E3, so the only way he makes an error on E3 is 3, 15, and 18. And he will make the play to end the inning. So Musselman pitches out of the trouble, and he's got the fatigue to go both innings, so he will come back for the 9th as well. So we go to the – that's fine, Tim. Either one of you who wants to chime in, or both, it doesn't matter. It's not an either-or situation. You can both do one if you want. Doesn't matter to me. More the merrier, in my opinion. All right, so Rance Mullenix is up, facing Stewart. And we'll check the A's bullpen real quick and see who's got the most rest. I also need to check and see when it's kind of bad when you got these guys that do both start and relieve, because you don't know when their start's going to come up. I don't want to bring them in for relief and then they're going to start the next day. So I'm going to look at Dennis Eckersley real quick and find out when his next start is, so that I don't put him in a save situation where he's got to start the next. He only had 2 starts on the season, so let's find out when those were. Let's see. He's already had 1 start, but there's another start coming, I'm sure. May 31st. So, yeah, 3 days he starts. Boy, do you want to go for it? After that, he's strictly relief after that. So I think we'll hold off on Stewart. On Eckersley, and we'll concentrate on Lamp, Leaper, Nelson, and Howell, although Howell had a horrible game last time. So right now, Stewart though says, "Don't worry, you can just leave me in there for now." Here's Mullinex. 1-3. It's a ballpark single. It's 1-9. That's a 5. So Mullinex gets a base hit courtesy of Exhibition Stadium. So he is on with a leadoff single. Okay, let's see. His wife, all right, Ed Sprague, I remember him, third baseman for the Blue Jays. He won the World Series. His wife, Kristen, won a gold medal in Barcelona Summer Games in what sport? Wow. I have no idea. I'm not sure if she was a track person or a gymnast or whatever. Maybe water polo, who knows? But I have no idea. All right, so Mullinex gets on, and here is, anybody wants to give a guess, you go right ahead. All right, here is Upshaw stepping in against Stewart. It's a 5-5, and that's another walk for Stewart. That's his 7th walk of the game. And he's going to be needing relief here pretty soon if he keeps this up. He's got to face George Bell, who's already homered against him once, and Bell is the tying run at the plate. So whether Stewart likes it or not, Tony La Russa is walking to the mound, and that is going to be it for Dave Stewart. Those 7 walks, just really not what they needed. So he's going to go 7+. He pitches to 2 batters in the 8th, and now the A's will go to the bullpen, and Dave Stewart's not happy about it, but given his struggles and the fact that George Bell took him deep in the 1st, they prefer to go to someone else. And they will go to, out of their bullpen, they will go to Gene Full Nelson. So Gene Nelson will come in and try to get out of this. Nelson was 6-5 with a 393 earned run average in the real season to go along with 3 saves. On the replays, 3-0 with no saves, a 4.11 ERA. 31 innings pitched, 43 hits, 14 walks, and 30 strikeouts. So Gene Nelson is only a -3 hold, which will make him a -2. And he's going to be facing George Bell, the dangerous Bell, who homered in the 1st, singled in the 6th. He's 2 for 3. So we'll get the rest of the numbers on Stewart here very shortly. Stewart allowed 6 hits. So far, 2 runs, but he is responsible for both of these runners. And he struck out only 2 with those 7 walks. So that was really something. Synchronized swimming. Wow. Very good. All right, so here is Nelson in to face Bell. Bell is the tying run. That's a 1-5. And look at, oh no. Look at this. Another clean as a baby's ass. George Bell, 1-5, is a 3-run home run. It wouldn't matter if it's Nelson or Stewart. It is a 3-run home run for George Taco Bell, a burrito supreme right here. His 2nd home run of the game, his 14th home run of the season. RBIs 37, 38, and 39, and we are tied at 5 apiece. And the blown save belongs to Gene Nelson. But he really had no say in it as George Bell just went deep. Home run number 14 for George Bell, his 2nd of the game. And obviously George Bell is bucking for player of the game, win or lose, because he's kept Toronto in it. And we are now tied at 5. So it's a bullpen game at this point. Clancy gets off the hook. He can't take the loss. Stewart can't get the win. It's going to be Gene Nelson and Jeff Musselman from here on out until another pitcher comes in. Here's Barfield. 2-4 for Barfield. It's ballpark single check. 1-11. That's a base hit. So Barfield gets the base hit. So Barfield is on. Here comes Lloyd Mosby. So with the lefties coming up, I think that's going to be it for Nelson. I think Tony La Russa has seen enough. This is not 2025. You don't have to face 3 batters. So they're going to their left-hander out of their bullpen, Dave Leeper. So Leeper is going to come on. Gene Nelson looks dejected, couldn't get the job done. And he won't even look at Stewart in the dugout as he comes back to the dugout. He just bypasses Stewart. Stewart gives him a little scowl. Says, "You cost me a win there, buddy." but that's the way it goes. So Leaper is a -6 hole. So that part is good anyway. So Leaper on the real season was 2-1 with a 3.78 ERA and 1 save. In the replay, he is 2-0 with 1 save and a 0.53 ERA. He has been the man in the replay for the Oakland A's bullpen. 17 innings pitched, just 9 hits, 7 walks, and 13 strikeouts. So lefty on lefty matchup here, Leaper against Mosby. For 3, and that's a fly ball left field extra. Looking at Seiko, he's a 3.9. 3 and a 5. Boy, Devil Die is not cooperating. And that's a 5. That's a rare play. 3 and a 5 is an SI2. So we got an SI2 rare play. SI2 rare play. Let's look at what the rare play would have been. Base hits a single with base runners advance 2 as the batter rounds first, field throws. Okay, so it throws behind him. Let's see what I had on mine here, SI2. Batter hits single, all runners advance 2 bases. If single was to right field, fielder throws behind the runner, catch him rounding 2 wide. But the single was to left field, so that's not going to play. But it's a 2-base advancement, and Barfield will take third. So even Leaper can't get it done. And now the Blue Jays, with nobody out still, have runners on the corners. Go-ahead run is now 90 feet away. Mosby, a good chance to steal, but that -5 might curtail that. Ernie Witt is your batter. The infield's going to play in. They really have no choice here at this matter. They don't want to trade the out and give up the go-ahead run in the 8th inning. He's going to have to play him in. You really have no choice. So the infield is in for Ernie Witt. 4-12, and that's going to be a ground ball pitcher B. So that's going to get, they're going to get the force on, or not the force, but they're going to get Barfield at the plate. 1-2 on a fielder's choice. So a big play there for Leaper. That ground ball B means that the lead runner on third base is out with the infield in. So Witt, unable to get it done, he hits into a fielder's choice, and the out goes 1-2 if you're scoring at home, and of course you should be. So out at the plate is Barfield, as Leaper made a good throw to Tettleton. 1 away, and here comes the crime dog, Fred McGriff, but he's going to be called back, and we will get Cecil Fielder to pinch hit for the Blue Jays, for McGriff. And he'll stay in the game to play the DH role. So pinch hitting in the 8th inning is Big Cecil Fielder. Big Cecil Fielder on the season. In 175 at-bats, he hit 14 home runs and hit 269. So let's see what he can do here. Infield looking for the double play, obviously. Let's get the numbers on Fielder on the replay as we bring him in. He's been tearing it up, obviously, if you've been paying attention to the replay at all. And Fielder on the replay now is hitting .333 in 48 at-bats. 8 homers and 17 driven in. So in 48 at-bats, he's got 8 home runs. So Leaper has to pitch carefully here. Got to pitch carefully to Fielder. 1-2, and that's a strikeout plus injury on Fielder. Wow. Bad news there. They may have to go to a third guy for the DH now, because the 1-2 is a strikeout plus injury. So Fielder has to go, probably, unless we roll a 4 or less. 4 or less, he can stay in. And he can stay in. So Fielder will be able to stay in the game. But, boy, that strikeout was a big one there. And now Garth Orge, his first at bat since coming in as a defensive replacement for Manny Lee after they pinch hit for him. Orge on the replay hitting 148, no homers, 10 driven in. Real world, he hit 210. And it is a clutch situation here against Leaper. And he will lose a hit on 112. So we got to keep an eye on that as well. So Leaper trying to get out of this and keep the score tied. 3-6, and he does it. A fly to left. Boy, Leaper has just been amazing. But the 3-run bomb from George Bell has tied this game at 5 apiece as we go to the 9th inning. And now Tom Hinkie loosening in the Blue Jay bullpen. Could they be bringing him in? We shall see. Well, right now, you got lefties coming up for the A's, so they're going to stick with Musselman against the two left-handers that are scheduled to hit. And then Canseco after that, you might bring Hinkie in to face Canseco. We shall see. But it's a 5-5 game, top of the ninth. We get extra innings. There's always room for an extra inning trivia question if somebody has one. If not, that's okay too. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Before I get any further, I want to clean up the Oakland pitching box score. So let's go to the computer and take care of business there before I get to the ninth. I want to clean things up. Dave Stewart, 7+ innings, 6 hits, 4 runs, all earned. Of course, the 7 walks and actually 4 strikeouts. I don't know why I had him for 2. He only had 4 strikeouts. I guess I was not paying attention. All right. So, yeah, all the way up to here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, 4 strikeouts. All right, so for Nelson, he didn't get anybody out. Gave up the 2 hits, which one of them was the home run. But the only run charged to him was the Bell home run. No walks, no strikeouts. And, of course, Leaper is still going. All right, so we're set now for the top of the ninth, 5-5. And we're even. 5 runs, 9 hits, no errors for the A's. 5 runs, 9 hits, no errors for the Blue Jays. Kind of game you expect from 2 top contending teams. Polonia will lead off. He's 2 for 4. It's a 3-3, and that's a pop-up to first. And that will be snagged by Upshaw, 1 away. And, of course, now Fielder is the new DH going forward for the Blue Jays. And that'll bring up Mike Davis, another lefty-on-lefty matchup. He's 1 for 4. It's a 5-6, and that is a strikeout for Musselman. Boy, Musselman's doing well, too. 2 quick outs, and I think with 2 outs and the bases empty, they're going to let him go ahead and pitch to Canseco. See if he can get through the 9th inning. 5-11. It's a ballpark single check. 1-6. That will be a base hit for Canseco. And we'll see if Canseco wants to try to get a lead. And also see if La Russa will go to the bullpen. Canseco needs a 6 to get the lead. Let's look at Hinkie. How is he at holding runners? He's a 0. So they will go to Hinkie. They don't want to take any chances any further. So they're going to Tom Hinkie out of the bullpen. But Musselman did him pretty well. He goes an inning and 2/3. And he's going to give up 2 hits. No walks. He did hit a batter and 2 strikeouts. But he is responsible for Canseco. So Tom Hinkie coming in. He in the real season as the Blue Jays closer. The real season, he was 0-6 with a 2.49 earned run average. But he did register 34 saves. In the replay, he's 0-3 with 11 saves and a 4.79. So he's been struggling a bit. And now he's got to deal with Canseco, who might try for the lead here. McGuire's on deck. Canseco needs a 6 to get the lead. He does not get it, so he will hold. So it's going to be Hinkie against the rookie Mark McGuire in a showdown here. 2 outs, top of the 9th, tied at 5. 2-10 for McGuire is a ground ball to short, and that's going to end the inning. So we can close the book on Musselman with no runs allowed. And we go to the bottom of the 9th, tied at 5 apiece. Blue Jays have a chance to walk it off when it looked like Oakland was well in control as of the 7th inning. That's why he played 9 innings. All right, so coming up now for the Blue Jays, it will be, let's see here. It will be the top of the order, Tony Fernandez, Mullenix, and Upshaw. So they got to switch in 2 lefties. So they're going to stick with Leaper. They will stick with Leeper. So far, he's only pitched 1 inning, so he's still good to go. He's got a relief rating of 2. So Leeper against Fernandez will turn Fernandez around and bat him right-handed. It's a 3-9 left-handed is a fly to left field, and that's 1 away. So we could be looking at free baseball. We shall see. Mullenix is your batter. You only face lefties 5% of the time, but we've got Orange playing second base, but they do have Kelly Gruber. So the Blue Jays will bring in Kelly Gruber to pinch hit for Mullenix, and Gruber will stay in the game to play third base, where he's a little bit better, 3.24 versus the 4.31. So Kelly Gruber will pinch hit here in the 9th and potentially play third base if it goes extra innings. So we'll get the numbers on Gruber on the replay. If I remember correctly, he's doing pretty well on the replay compared to Real World. Real World for Gruber in 87, he only hit 235 with 12 home runs. In the replay, Gruber is hitting 320 with 6 home runs and 18 driven in and exactly 100 at bats. This is a bat 101 for Gruber. And he will be facing Leeper. So Gruber looking to make something happen. Of course, after him, you got Bell looming a couple batters away. 3-6, and that's a walk. So Gruber will draw the pinch hit walk. And that is now 8 walks in the game by Oakland pitching. Gruber could try for the lead. He needs a 4 or a 5 to obtain a good lead. Doesn't get it, so he will hold. And here comes Upshaw. It's a lefty-on-lefty matchup for Leeper. George Bell coming up, so they will bring in a new pitcher, will Oakland, if it gets to George Bell's turn, which unless there's a double play, you're going to get to his turn. So we're looking at Dennis Lamp, a right-hander, loosening in the Oakland bullpen, but they may not let Leeper pitch to Bell. We'll have to wait and see. So here's Upshaw. 4-8, and that is a 1-6 single. Double dies a 9, so it's a line out to second base for out number 2. And now here comes the man, George Bell. 2 home runs in the game. Both of those home runs came against right-handed pitching, though. But of course, he can hit lefty just as well. And tough call here. Do you bring in Lamp, who's not that great, but he is right-handed, or do you leave Leeper in the game, who has pitched well? I think Tony La Russa has made a decision that Leeper has earned the right to stay in the game. So Leeper's going to stay in there to face Bell. Lamp will stay in the bullpen. And George Bell trying to walk it off for the Blue Jays. 2-8, and that's a fly to center field, and that will end the inning. We are going to extra innings, and hats off to Dave Leeper. He goes 2 innings in relief and gives up just 1 single, and that's it. He struck out 1, walked 1, but no runs, and we're going to the 10th here in Toronto with free baseball, and that's going to do it. And now it looks like we're either going to get Lamp if the A's don't take the lead, or we'll get Jay Howell if they do take the lead. Meanwhile, Hinkie going to come in and pitch the top of the 10th. Javier is the new DH. Remember, he pinch ran for Jackson, so Hot Dog Jackson's not in the game anymore as he was pinch hit for. So first at bat coming up for Stan Javier. And on the computer, we need to put in Kelly Gruber at third base. So Stan Javier taking his first at bat of the ball game. In the real world, he hit 185 with 2 home runs. On the replay, he's hitting 200 even in 70 at bats, and he's got 1 home run and 5 driven in. So top of the 10th, Hinkie facing Javier. 5-4, switch hitter. Fly ball center field X, that's Mosby. He's a 1, so you know he's going to get to it. E7 is his only issue, and on an E7 for a center fielder, the only errors are 3, 4, 15, 17, and 18. 3, 4, 15, 17, and 18. And the 10 is going to be just fine. So Mosby will make the play. Javier is retired. 1 down for Carney Lansford. 6-8 against Hinkie is a strikeout. I don't know if these cards are coming off these. Looks like maybe they're getting to this part of the score sheet where they're losing visuals. So 6-8 is a strikeout for Tom Hinkie. So if we get a 3 or 6, I'll just move the cards over so you can see them. So strikeout for Hinkie, and that brings up Tony Phillips, 2 down, bases clear for Phillips, who's 2 for 4. 6-7, switch hitter batting left-handed is another strikeout for Hinkie. So Hinkie gets it done. Oakland goes quietly in the 10th. We go to the bottom of the 10th, and now Dennis Lamp will be coming on for the A's. He will be the new pitcher. Since they didn't take the lead, they're not going to bring their closer in. So Dennis Lamp was 1-3 with a 5.08 ERA for the A's in the real season. We'll see how he's doing on the replay. He hasn't pitched much. It's a recent acquisition to their roster, so I don't believe he's pitched a whole lot of games. He's pitched 19 innings, so he's pitched more than I thought he had. So on the replay, Dennis Lamp is 0-1. I'm sorry, he's 0-0 with a save, 3.38 earned run average, 19 innings pitched, 18 hits, 7 walks, and 5 strikeouts. So Dennis Lamp coming in to face Barfield. And again, if I roll a 3 or a 6, I'll move the cards over. Otherwise, you should be able to see it. So Barfield will lead off, and Barfield is 1 for 4. That's a 3-9 for Barfield. 3-9's a split chance. 1 to 4 is a single, but that's a 6, so he's going to line it to short. And Alfredo Griffin makes the play, 1 away for center fielder Lloyd Mosby. I was not anticipating extra innings, but they're always neat when they come along. Here's Mosby. He's walked twice, so he's actually only 1 for 2, but he's been on base 3 times. That's a 3-6 for Mosby. And he's going to walk again. That's his 3rd walk for Mosby in the ball game. Walked 3 times. He walked 70 times in the real season. And Lamp is a +4 hold, so it makes him a +5. So you know Mosby's going to try to get the lead with a pitcher that can't hold runners very well. So he needs the 2 through 5 to get the lead. He does not get the lead. They could try the secondary lead. He'd be a 13, being held, make him a 9, but the +5 make him a 14. So that might be worth the gamble itself. So 1 to 14, he's going to try it without a good lead. And he got caught stealing. Wow, it's bad D20 roll there. He's trying to make something happen and couldn't do it. And Tettleton throws him out 2 to 6 as Griffin puts on the tag. And that'll bring up Ernie Witt with 2 outs and the bases clear. Trying to get in scoring position with 1 out. That would have been huge, but it didn't happen. So here's Witt, 1-6, and he's going to walk. 2nd walk issued by Lamp. And I believe that's the 10th walk of the game by the A's pitching. I believe that's their 10th walk of the game, if I'm not mistaken. So that'll put Witt at first base with 2 outs for Cecil Fielder. He has a chance to walk it off. About it. That's a 1. So Lamp's wild pitch rating. Have to get that off the computer. His wild pitch rating is a 14. Balk's a 0, but his wild pitch is a 14. So he could wild pitch the guy to second base, which he does. But now they will walk Fielder intentionally. That's a no-brainer. Not going to let him beat you. They'll trust that they can get Garth Orge out. So the intentional walk after the wild pitch. So possibly the wild pitch might have been a blessing in disguise. Don't usually say that, but it could be in this situation because it allows them to walk Fielder, and now there's Garth Orge. And you can't pinch hit for Garth Orge because there's nobody else to play second base, so you get kind of stuck with him. So clutch situation for Garth Orge. In the clutch, he loses a hit on 112, and that's it. Everywhere else is neutral. 1-7, and he struck him out, and we're going to the 11th inning. So the strategy to intentionally walk Fielder is off, and we go to the 11th inning. Score still tied at 5 apiece. Question is, how far do you go with Hinkie? He's got a fatigue of 2, so he's pitched an inning and a third, so I think you can get 2 1/3 out of him. And it'll be Mickey Tettleton. And now that we're getting over this part, I think I'm going to have to move the cards to make them visible. So Mickey Tettleton will start the 11th inning against Hinkie. That's a leaner, but I mean, it's right there, 2-11. And that's a ground ball second base plus injury. So we'll see if Tettleton has to leave the game. He does. So Mickey Tettleton will leave, and the A's will go to Terry Steinbach to take over as catcher. So Steinbach will catch in the 11th. Terry Steinbach. And he's a 3-0 E7. So he's a 0 arm, which will make Lamp now a +4. All right, so Griffin. So it's like a war of attrition going on here. Guys are getting injured, leaving the game. Here's Griffin. 2-10 for Griffin is a ground ball to second. Another play made by Garth Orch, 2 down. And the loser of this game is going to feel really bad, especially with Oakland, because they thought they had this game in the bag. Here's Polonia. 1-6, and that's a 1-7 triple. That's a 3. Luis Polonia, a 2-out triple here in the 11th inning. And all of a sudden, the A's have a chance to make something happen. Polonia had 10 triples on the season. So there you go. And that brings up Mike Davis. Hinkie to face Davis in the clutch. Davis loses a hit on 110. Everywhere else he is neutral. In the game, Davis is 1 for 5. Polonia at third, 2 outs. 1-8, and that's a strikeout for Davis, and that will do it for Hinkie. He's going to go 2 1/3. Don't want to push him anywhere past that. So 2 1/3 for Hinkie. And he didn't give up much. He gave up that 1 hit, the triple, and that was it. Struck out 3, didn't walk anybody. So Hinkie had a nice outing. We go to the bottom of the 11th. Blue Jays, again, with a chance to walk it off. And it's the top of the order. Tony Fernandez, Kelly Gruber, and Willie Upshaw against Dennis Lamp. So Fernandez is 1 for 4, single and a walk. 6-3, switch hitter batting left is a ground ball shortstop X. Griffin is a 2E29. 2E29 for Griffin. 2 and a 5 should get to that, you would think. 2 and a 5 is a G3. That's a 9, and he is an E29 at shortstop. E29, there's an 11, 3, 17, and 18, but no 9. So Griffin will throw out Fernandez for 1 away. And that brings up Kelly Gruber. Walked his first chance since coming into the game as a pinch hitter for Mullenix. It's a 1-5, and that's a ground ball to short. Another out. Recorded by Griffin. Wait a minute, why is this giving me trouble here? Let's fix this on the computer real quick so we're up to speed. 2 ground ball outs to short to start the 11th. And that's going to bring up Willie Upshaw, first baseman. Upshaw has doubled, walked twice, scored 2 runs. See what he can do. 4-3. It's ground ball first base X. McGuire's a 3E12. 3E12. 3 and a 5. Boy, the double die is trying to make it troublesome here. 3 and a 5 is a G3. He'll get to it. That's an 11, and McGuire is an E12. E12, and he got an 11. E12, there's no 11 there, so McGuire makes the play, flips the Lamp, and that's going to end the inning. So we go to the 12th. Dennis Lamp has hung in there for 2 innings. His relief rating is 3, so he can keep going. Of course, if the A's take the lead, they will bring in Jay Howell to try to get the save, but while they're still tied, they are going to go with Lamp. But the Blue Jays will need a new pitcher because Hinkie went his 2 1/3, and they're not going to ask him to go any farther. Due up for the A's, Canseco, McGuire, and Jackson, so they will bring on Mark Foghorn Eichhorn out of the bullpen. Mark Foghorn Eichhorn. He was 10-6 with a 3.17 ERA in the real season. Let's see what he's doing here on the replay. And that really leaves Jose Nunez as the last remaining bullpen arm. So on the replay, well, first of all, he was 10-6, 3.17 real world with 4 saves. On the replays, 0-0 with 1 save, a 3.60 ERA. 25 innings pitched, 23 hits, 13 walks, 18 strikeouts. It'll be Canseco, McGuire, and Javier due up for the A's in a 5-5 ball game, top of the 12th. Almost need a seventh inning stretch here. Eichhorn to Canseco, 4-11. Fly ball right field X. That's going to be Barfield. He's a 1 with an E3, so the 1, you know he's going to get to it. E3, his only error, 3-16 and 18. And he makes the play. 1 down. Canseco is out. Here's McGuire. And it may come down to a home run winning this thing. We never know. Here's McGuire. 5-6. That's a 1-8 double. That's a 3. So McGuire. A 1-out double for McGuire. And now the go-ahead run in scoring position for Stan Javi. Now, they probably wish they had Hot Dog Jackson, but they pinch ran for him. And after he got hit by the pitch, so got to stick with Javier. Got to stick with Javier. 3-7, and he strikes out number 2. So now it is all up to Carney Lansford in the clutch. And Lansford gains a hit, 3-9. Everything else he's neutral. 3-9. 4-8, and that's a strikeout for Eichhorn. It's a dot there, but it's his first inning, so obviously he's not tired. So we go to the bottom of the 12th. Again, a chance for the Blue Jays to walk it off against Dennis Lamp. And due up for the Jays, it'll be that man, Bell. He's the man. He has a chance to hit his 3rd home run of the game and walk it off, possibly. But Bell, Barfield, and Mosby here in the bottom of the 12th against Dennis Lamp. 3-11. Oh, he just missed a ballpark blast, which would have failed anyway. But a 3-11 is a base hit chance on a single. But the 14 says no, so it's a line out to short. And that's 1 away. And I'm about ready to run out of room on my score sheet. Here's Jesse Barfield. He's certainly capable. He leads the league in home runs with 15. 1 ahead of his teammate Bell. 4-6, and that's a single to right field for Lamp. So Barfield not known for his running, though. Looks like we got a trivia question off the cuff from Kathy, so let's take a look here. Says here, extra innings, extra trivia. This player shares a last name with our 28th president, a Giant and club hit 56 home runs for Cubs in 1930. Oh, I know who that is. That's Mr. Hack. I won't say the last name, but his first name is Hack. I'm assuming. I think the Bullfrog might have it as well. Hey, Yankees, didn't see you there, Yankee Bob. But I believe it's Hack Wilson. And I believe Jeremiah got that. Assuming he's correct. I'm making an assumption here. I'm assuming he's correct. So Mosby is going to be up to bat with Barfield at first, who's not being held because he doesn't run all that well. And Lamp delivering to Mosby, 5-2 to the left hand. It's a fly ball center field. That's out number 2. So there you go. Woodrow Wilson. Very good. And the Bullfrog, don't forget the Bullfrog. He got it right. So very nice extra inning question off the cuff there, Kathy. Thank you for that. So Mosby flies to center, out number 2. And unless Ernie Witt does something, we're going to a 13th inning. Ernie Witt on the day has walked twice, but he's hitless. He's 0 for 3 with 2 walks. Lamp trying to complete 3 innings of relief. 3-6, and that's going to be a ground ball to short, and we are, in fact, going to the 13th inning. So we go to the 13th, still tied at 5. Blame it all on George Bell. His 3-run homer is with the cause of the extra innings. So if you want to blame the extra innings on somebody, blame it on George Bell. So Eichhorn back out for the 13th inning. We'll see about Lamp. His fatigue is 3, but he's pitched pretty well, so I'm thinking he's going to go for a 4th inning because he was a part-time starter as well. So here's Tony Phillips, Mickey Tettleton, and Alfredo Griffin. Phillips, 2 for 5, a couple of singles. See what he can do here. 1-8, and that's a leadoff walk for Phillips. A leadoff walk. This is the 13th inning. I'm having to improvise on the score sheet here. Phillips has a chance because Eichhorn's a +9, so that makes him a +5. So he's going to try for the lead here. Needs a 2, a 6, 7, or 8 to get the lead. A 10, he gets picked off. But we're not going to try the secondary lead because it's really, really low. That's a 7, so he does get the lead. That 6 through 8 gives him the lead. 7 is there, but that's a 1. So that means he's got a chance to get picked off. 1 to 8, he gets picked off. 1 to 8, he gets back. 9 to 20, he's picked off. And he's picked off. Tried to obtain the lead, and Eichhorn picks him off. What a bad break that is if you're Oakland. So he got picked off by Eichhorn. And his +9 hold, he still managed to pick him off. All right, here's Steinbach. And Steinbach will have his first at bat since coming in for the injured Tettleton. Steinbach, let's get his numbers for Steinbach. And that leaves Ron Say and Mike Gallego as the bench players left for Oakland. Neither very good. Steinbach on the replay is hitting 281, 2 homers, 6 driven in. Real world, he hit 284 with 16 home runs. So Steinbach against Eichhorn now with 1 out and a runner and nobody on. That's a 3-7 for Steinbach, and he will walk. So back-to-back walks. I don't think Steinbach's going to be as anxious to try to get a lead, so he will hold there. They will not even hold him on. And here is Alfredo Griffin. Griffin is 0 for 5, but they really have nobody else left on the bench to pinch hit. I mean, Ron Say and Mike Gallego are not better hitters. So. Got to live with what you have. 6-5, switch hitter batting left is a fly ball to right field. Hauled in by Barfield, 2 down. So 2 down, and that brings up Polonia, top of the order. Polonia has doubled and tripled. He's 2 for 5. Double and a triple. See what he can do here against Eichhorn. That's a 6-6. That's a single to center field. So he's a home run away from the cycle, but it will never get around to him batting again. And he only hit 4 home runs all season, so the chance of doing that is pretty slim. The single 6-6 is to center field. Mosby is a 0 arm, but Steinbach only runs. He runs at a 10, not being held as an 11. 2 outs makes him a 13. But you're already in scoring position at second base. You don't want to get thrown out at third. So he'll stop at second base on the base hit by Polonia. Mark Eichhorn is now listed as tired, but they're going to try to get him through the inning before going to Nunez. So keep an eye on Eichhorn. If he hits the dots against the lefty, if he hits this 5-8, that will turn into a hit. If he hits the 4-8, it turns into a hit. So he's got to avoid 5-8 and 4-8. That's a 2, so chance of a balk or a pass ball. We're looking at a pass ball chance on the catcher, Ernie Witt. His pass ball rating's a 3. No pass ball. He blocks it. So Eichhorn to Davis. In a clutch situation, Davis will lose a hit on the 110. Whoa, we got hopping dice, so let's re-roll that. Get a 212, and that's a ground ball to third, and that will do it. That will take care of the 13th inning for Oakland. And that will do it for Eichhorn. He's gone as long as he can go. He had hit fatigue, but he managed to get through the inning. We go to the bottom of the 13th inning. And staying in the game, obviously, is Dennis Lamp. He will stay in there and try to get one more inning. This will be inning number 4 for Lamp. He's got a fatigue of 3, but he really has not given up much of anything. Cecil Fielder will lead us off. He was intentionally walked his last time up. Won't do that this time. 6-9 is a fly to center, and that's one away. So fly ball to center. If we go to the 14th, I'm really going to have to improvise on the score sheet because I've definitely run out of room. I guess I can start making these columns over here to be innings, but it's very, very narrow. They don't give you much room to work with there. All right, here's Garth Orge. 5-11, and that's a ballpark blast. He has normal power. That's a 15, though. He needed an 11. So just a deep fly to left, and Garth Clockwork Orge almost walked it off, but not quite. That time the double die showed up high. Look at it again, 5-11 would have been a ballpark blast with a 1 to an 11, but that was a 15, and he did have normal power. So here's Tony Fernandez. He is 1 for 5 with a walk and a single. 2 outs, base is clear. 1-4, and that's a 1-5 would have been a triple, but 1-4 will be a ground ball back to Lamp, and that will end the inning. We are going to the 4th, and they may keep Lamp another inning. We'll see. He's not giving up anything, so he's not tired. So he could pitch a potential 5th inning, that's for sure. All right, we'll get the numbers on Eichhorn because he is done. Nunez out of the bullpen. But Eichhorn pitched well. He pitched 2 innings, gave up 2 hits, 2 walks and 2 strikeouts, but no runs. And now Jose Nunez is on for Toronto. He does have long relief rating. He can go 3 innings, but he's not all that great. That's the problem. 5-2 with a 5.01 ERA, real world. He's a +2 on the hold factor. And so I'm going to have to start making this the 14th inning, I guess, right here. All right, so Nunez will bring him into the game. This is definitely getting to be a battle of attrition here, as Nunez will be coming on for Eichhorn. On the replay, Nunez is 0-1 with no saves and an 8.20 ERA. 19 innings pitched, 21 hits, 23 walks, and 25 strikeouts. So Nunez will be facing, to lead things off, he will be facing Jose Canseco, Mark McGuire, and Stan Javier to start the top of the 14th inning. 5-5. Top of the 14th, battle of 2 first-place teams, or virtually first-place teams. Toronto's technically a half game back. Pitch Canseco, 1-6, struck him out. So Canseco out on strikes. And that'll send us to Mark McGuire. 2-6, and that's a 1-6 single, but that's a 10, so short. That's 2 quick outs for Nunez, and that'll bring up Javier. Like I said, on Oakland's bench, all they have left is Ron Say and Mike Gallego, and neither one of those are very efficient. Gallego did hit 250, but Javier is a switch hitter, so they're hoping to get something out of the platoon advantage. 2-8, they do not. He strikes out. And so Nunez, a scoreless 14th inning for Nunez. We will go to the bottom of the 14th, where Dennis Lamp will be starting his 5th inning of work. And he'll be facing Kelly Gruber here in the bottom of the 14th. It'll be Gruber, Upshaw, and Bell. So that man Bell again is lurking, ready to strike. But we'll see what happens first with Kelly Gruber. 4-6, and that's going to be a single to right field for Kelly Gruber. Leadoff single. Gruber could get the steal chance because Lamp is a +4. He needs a 4 or a 5 to steal. Does not get the lead, so he'll hold. And here's Willie Upshaw. Upshaw is 1 for, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 for 4 with 2 walks, a double. That's a 111, and that's a ground ball, second base A. We got a 4-6-3 double play. Wow, just when you think Toronto might do something, they ground into a double play. Pitcher's best friend, 4-6-3, 2 outs, base is empty, but you got that man Bell up there. He's 3 for 6, 2 homers and a single, and he could walk it off with 1 swing of the bat. 6-7, though, is a ground ball shortstop X. That is going to be Griffin. He's a 2E29 at shortstop. 2 and a 20, he'll get to that. E29, and that's a 10. I don't think 10 will be an issue. 11's an issue, but not a 10. So Griffin makes the play. And Dennis Lamp goes 5 innings of relief. Can you ask him to go any more? It'd be kind of tough to do. So we're going to the bottom of the 15th. Yes, Lamp is now tired, so that'll be all for Lamp, but he did yeoman work going 5 innings. Go to the Strat-O-Matic computer, go to the box score and get his official numbers in those 5 innings. He definitely saved their bullpen quite a bit. 5 innings pitched, 2 hits. He did walk 3 batters, but he pitched around that. So Oakland has issued, as a pitching staff, they've issued 11 walks already. But we're going to the top of the 15th. Top of the 15th we go, and Nunez is on the bump. He'll be facing Lansford, Phillips, and Tettleton. Lansford, Phillips, and Steinbach. Lansford, Phillips, and Steinbach. And Oakland in their half, in the bottom half of the 15th, they can go to either Eric Plunk, although he may be starting a game. We'll have to wait and see here. Actually, they could go to Eckersley, though. But they're going to go to Jay Howell. He's the most rested. So Jay Howell would come in and pitch, regardless if they take the lead or not. So Jay Howell will be the new pitcher for Oakland. Jay Howell. They will use Eckersley only in emergency. So Jay Howell is going to be your new pitcher if it goes to when it goes, rather, to the bottom of the 15th inning. So here's Lansford. 5-10 on Nunez as a catcher X. That's Ernie Witt. Witt's a 2E2. 2 and a 3, but there's nobody on base, so I don't think that'll be a problem anyway. 2 and a 3 is going to be a ground out. That's an 11, and he is an E2. There's no 11 there, so it's just a little nubber for a ground out, 2-3. Lansford retired, and here's Tony Phillips. Does anybody want to win this game is the question. Can we finish it before lunchtime is another question. 3-6 for Phillips, and he's going to draw a walk. But he was picked off trying to get the lead last time, but they're stubborn, so he's going to try again. A 2, 6, 7, or 8 gets him the lead. A 10, he gets picked off. 12, he's got to hold, so it's a moot point. That brings up Steinbach. 6-4, and that's an in-home run chance, 1 to an 11. That's a 12. It'll still be a triple for Terry Steinbach. He had 3 triples on the season. So Terry Steinbach, a triple, puts Oakland ahead 6-5 off of Nunez. And now Jay Howell definitely will be coming in to try to get the save in the bottom of the 15th. So Steinbach's at third with 1 out, and the infield will have to come in for Alfredo Griffin. Nunez trying to minimize the damage to 1 run. 2-9, and that's a ground ball second base A, so the runners are going to have to hold. Steinbach will hold at third base with 2 outs for Luis Polonia. Polonia, he has gotten 4 hits. He's 4 for 7. He needs a home run to get the cycle. I've never had a cycle, obviously. But the only chance he's got to get a home run for a cycle, because he has weak power, is right here on the 1-5 result. We have to get a 1-5 or he will not see the light of day for a cycle. So that's a 2. So Nunez, potential balk or pass ball. We're looking at wild pitch rating, rather, I should say. Or balk rating, I'm sorry. Balk rating on Nunez. We'll check his balk numbers. He has a 4 balk rating, 6 wild pitch, and a 4 balk. That's a 1. He's going to balk in the run. Are you kidding me? Nunez balks in the run. Unbelievable. Devil Die shows up again with a 1. And now what an insurance run that is. 2 runs in the inning now. It is now 7-5 on that balk. And here's Polonia. Needs a 1-5 to get the cycle chance. 4-8, obviously not going to get that, and he strikes out to end the inning. But 2 runs here in the 15th for Oakland as they take a 7-5 lead, and Yankees and Brewer fans are happy about that. We go to the bottom of the 15th, and Jay Howell will be coming on for the Oakland A's to try to close the door. And we'll get the numbers on Jay Howell as we go to the Oakland bullpen. Jay Howell. And hats off to Dennis Lamp. 5 innings. He would get the win. It'd be a well-deserved win if he gets it. Jay Howell, 3-4 with a 5.89 earned run average real world. Did have 16 saves. On the replay, he's 1-1 with 6 saves and a 4.24 earned run average. 17 innings pitched, 12 hits, 16 walks, and 14 strikeouts. Not out of the woods, though. Barfield and Mosby are both capable of doing some damage for the Blue Jays here in the bottom of the 15th. So it'll be Barfield doing up against Jay Howell. And Nunez will do him at the end of the game, I guess. Barfield, 5'6", and that's a ground ball shortstop X. We're looking at Griffin. He's a 2E29 for Mr. Griffin. 2 and a 7. Should get to that. 2 and a 7. 2 and a 7 is a G2. That's a 5. A rare play on a G2. Rare play on a G2. G2 rare play. Run on first. Okay, so it's not run on first, so it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. So it does not matter because there's nobody on first, so it's just going to be a ground ball out. The rare play only kicks in when there's a run on first. So Barfield is out. That's a big out for Howell to get to start the bottom of the 15th. And now that brings up Lloyd Mosby. That's a 3. I'm sorry, that went 6-3 because that was Griffin. My bad. All right, so that's a 3-5 for Mosby is a 1 triple, and the Devil Die comes up with a 1 again. How many times has a 1 come up in this game? You can't tell me it's a 5% chance anymore. I'm not buying it. All right, so Mosby triples, so now the tying runs at the plate and Ernie Witt. And Ernie Witt is hitless, but he does have 2 walks in the game. The infield's back, so a regular ground ball should score a run, but that won't help. They're down by 2. So that balk was huge last inning. Here's Witt against Howell. 2-12 for Witt. Ground ball first base A, and I believe that's going to freeze the runner. Check the rule book on that, but I believe on a ground ball A with runner at third that he has to hold, but I will verify it. Runner on third, infield back, runner on third. Ground ball A is a 5. Which says if it's hit to second or short, the runner advances. Otherwise, they hold. So since it went to McGuire at first, the runners will hold. Or the runner will hold, I should say. So it's going to be up to Cecil Fielder. Of course, he has the power to tie this game with 1 swing of the bat. So Cecil Fielder is up. I mean, there's no way in hell he's going to hit a home run here. There's obviously no way in hell. 3-5, and he struck him out. Boy, a 3-6 would have done it. A 3-6, and we'd have a tie ball game right now. On a 1-11, that being a 2. But the 3-5 is a strikeout, and this ball game is over. Jay Howell saves it for Dennis Lamp and the A's. And the A's battle through and take down the Blue Jays by the score of 7-5 in 15 innings. Hard-fought game for both teams. But now the Blue Jays fall one game behind the Yankees in the standings as they drop to 28-16. Oakland improves to 26-19. Jay Howell gets his 7th save. Nunez will take the loss. He drops to 0-2. And for Nunez, he went 2 innings, gave up 1 hit and 2 runs. Walked 1, struck out 3. Howell 1 inning pitched, 1 hit, and a strikeout. Lamp, the winner, improves to 1-0. He gets his first decision. So final line score for Oakland, 7 runs, 14 hits, and no errors. Toronto, 5 runs, 12 hits, and no errors. Left on base, both teams left 12 runners on base. Both teams left 12 runners on base. This may be the game of the year. You can make your decisions. Of course, the year is just, we've got a long way to go, but up to this point, this might be the game of the year. I don't know. But in a losing cause, George Bell, 2 home runs, but I'm giving the player of the game, Dennis Lamp. He pitched 5 shutout innings of relief. So to me, Dennis Lamp is your player of the game. I know Steinbach tripled in the run, but to me, Dennis Lamp is your player of the game, pitching 5 scoreless innings. He will have to rest probably for 2 days before they need relief from him again. But Oakland defeats Toronto. And now as we look at the most updated up to the second standings in the American League East, Toronto now is a full game back of the Yankees at 28-16. The Yankees are 30-16, so they're tied in the loss column, but the Yankees have 2 additional wins. Tomorrow, Milwaukee, who's a half game back of the Yankees, will be in Minnesota, and if the Brewers win that, they will tie the Yankees for first place. If they lose, they'll drop a game back and tie it with Toronto. Oakland, in the meantime, 29-15, now has a 3-game lead on Kansas City, and a 3.5-game lead on Chicago, and a 4-game lead on Minnesota. So wild one here. I probably need some downtime after all that because I'm not used to 15-inning games, but that's just the way it worked out. Do appreciate all of you that stood through this whole game. And boy, we're talking 2 hours, pretty much 2-hour game. So definitely a case of endurance here, but we move on. Turn the page, as Bob Seger once sang. And we'll be going to the Metrodome in Minnesota tomorrow morning. It'll be the Minnesota Twins and the Milwaukee Brewers from the Metrodome. And that pitching matchup will see Mike Birkbeck for the Brewers against Juan Berenguer for the Minnesota Twins. Tonight, Demolition League, if you're so interested, at 9 p.m. roughly Eastern time. We'll be in Miami for the Minnesota Twins against the Miami Marlins. That will be the matchup in the Demolition League. Yankees blew out San Diego last night in the Demolition League. And then again, tomorrow morning, we will see Milwaukee and Minnesota. So, again, thanks to everyone. Especially thanks to Kathy for her trivia questions and for Tim for his 1 trivia question. Hope you all have a great Thursday, whatever you have planned. I was hoping to be at the store by now. I didn't think I'd be still playing at 11 o'clock, so I need to get myself moving so I can get to the store before I can beat the lunch crowd to get there. Got some things to pick up at Wally World, so I need to take care of that. So that's going to do it from here. Until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and we'll see you all down the road.